Estonia's formal procurement of 6 K239 Chunmoo multiple rocket launchers from South Korea represents a watershed moment in European defense cooperation and an inflection point for South Korea's defense industrial strategy within the broader NATO ecosystem. In late December 2025, the Estonian Center for Defense Investments finalized a contract valued at nearly 290 million euros with Hanwha Aerospace, the South Korean defense prime contractor responsible for the development and production of the Chunmoo system. Under the terms of the agreement, Estonia will receive 6 launchers, 3 families of rockets and missiles, full crew training packages, long-term sustainment support, and the option to procure additional systems in the future. Deliveries are scheduled to begin in the second half of 2027, reflecting a relatively compressed timeline by European procurement standards. The strategic rationale behind Estonia's decision is rooted in a deliberate effort to expand its long-range strike capability while strengthening NATO's deterrence posture along the alliance's northeastern flank. Estonia has already been investing heavily in rocket artillery modernization, including the acquisition of United States-made high-mobility artillery rocket systems, which entered service and conducted initial live-fire exercises in 2025. However, global production constraints, competing international demand, and the need for redundancy in high-intensity conflict scenarios have driven Tallinn to pursue a complementary system. Chunmoo emerged as a viable and strategically attractive option, capable of providing both precision rocket fire and tactical ballistic missile effects within a single integrated platform. Developed by Hanwha Aerospace, with strong backing from South Korea's defense research and industrial base, Chunmoo is a highly mobile wheeled multiple rocket launcher mounted on an 8x8 truck chassis. The system is designed around rapid deployment, survivability, and flexibility, emphasizing shoot-and-scoot tactics essential in modern counter-battery environments. Chunmoo can fire guided rockets from the 239mm CGR-080 family with ranges extending to approximately 80 kilometers. More significantly, it can also employ missile variants such as the CTM-MR and the CTM-290, the latter offering a reach of up to 290 kilometers. This layered strike capability allows operators to tailor fire missions across tactical, operational, and limited strategic depths. For Estonia, which occupies a geographically constrained position on NATO's eastern edge and shares a direct border with the Russian Federation, long-range precision fire is a cornerstone of national defense planning. Estonian defense leadership has emphasized that the Chunmoo acquisition is not merely an expansion of firepower, but a structural enhancement of deterrence. By holding high-value targets at risk beyond immediate frontline zones, Estonia strengthens both its own defensive credibility and NATO's collective posture in the Baltic region. The coexistence of Chunmoo and HIMARS within the Estonian order of battle reflects a conscious strategy to diversify capabilities rather than rely on a single supplier or system architecture. The inclusion of multiple ammunition families within the contract further reinforces this flexibility. Shorter-range guided rockets provide precision support for maneuver units and counter-battery missions, while longer-range missile options enable deep interdiction and operational-level targeting. This spectrum of effects aligns closely with NATO's evolving doctrine, which increasingly emphasizes rapid escalation control, long-range fires, and integrated sensor-to-shooter networks. Estonia's approach demonstrates how smaller NATO members are adapting these concepts to their own scale and geography. An equally important but less visible dimension of the deal lies in its industrial and economic structure. Hanwha Aerospace has committed to reinvesting a substantial portion of the contract value, estimated at several tens of millions of euros, into Estonia's domestic defense industry over the coming years. This includes cooperation in maintenance, repair, training, and localized support infrastructure, as well as the gradual integration of Estonian firms into the sustainment chain. Such industrial offsets are particularly significant in the context of rocket artillery, where ammunition supply and life cycle support often remain tightly controlled by original manufacturers. By embedding local participation into the program, Estonia enhances its defense sovereignty and resilience in prolonged crisis scenarios. This industrial approach also reflects a broader shift across Europe following recent high-intensity conflicts on the continent. European states are reassessing earlier assumptions about ammunition stockpiles, industrial surge capacity, and dependence on external suppliers. Rocket artillery, once viewed as a niche capability, has re-emerged as a central pillar of modern land warfare. Estonia's Chunmoo procurement illustrates how even smaller states are prioritizing not only the acquisition of advanced systems, but also the industrial ecosystems needed to sustain them over time. For South Korea, the Estonia deal carries implications that extend far beyond its immediate monetary value. It represents another concrete step in Seoul's broader effort to position itself as a reliable supplier of advanced military systems to NATO members. Over the past decade, South Korean defense firms have transitioned from regional exporters to global competitors, offering platforms that combine modern technology, relatively rapid delivery timelines, and competitive lifecycle costs. Chunmoo's acceptance by a NATO frontline state reinforces South Korea's credibility in the highly scrutinized European defense market. The deal also complements South Korea's earlier large-scale defense exports to Central and Eastern Europe, where Korean systems have been adopted to rapidly modernize forces facing acute security challenges. In this context, Chunmoo is increasingly perceived not merely as an alternative to Western rocket artillery, but as a parallel solution that can be integrated into NATO operational frameworks. This perception is critical for South Korea's long-term export ambitions, as it signals interoperability, political trust, and strategic alignment rather than transactional arms sales. From an alliance perspective, Estonia's decision highlights an emerging trend within NATO: the diversification of procurement sources as a means of strengthening collective resilience. While United States systems remain central to NATO's military architecture, reliance on a single supplier has become increasingly problematic amid surging global demand. By integrating Chunmoo alongside HIMARS, Estonia reduces vulnerability to supply disruptions while expanding its tactical and operational options. This dual-track approach may serve as a model for other NATO members seeking to balance interoperability with industrial and logistical resilience. Operational integration will nonetheless require careful planning. Chunmoo's employment within NATO's command and control environment demands seamless data sharing, targeting coordination, and deconfliction with allied assets. Estonia's experience in integrating HIMARS provides a strong foundation, but the presence of multiple long-range strike systems also necessitates refined doctrines to manage escalation risks and ensure coherent operational use. In modern conflict environments, the distinction between defensive deterrence and offensive capability can become blurred, particularly when systems possess the range to strike deep into adversary territory. From a strategic signaling perspective, the deployment of Chunmoo in the Baltic region inevitably shapes regional perceptions. Long-range rocket and missile systems serve primarily as deterrents, yet their presence alters calculations on all sides. For NATO, such capabilities reinforce credibility by demonstrating the ability to impose costs across multiple domains. For potential adversaries, they introduce additional layers of uncertainty regarding response options and timelines. Managing this balance will remain a central challenge for alliance planners in the years ahead. In conclusion, Estonia's acquisition of the K239 Chunmoo system from South Korea is far more than a routine defense purchase. It encapsulates a convergence of strategic necessity, alliance adaptation, and industrial collaboration. By combining American and Korean rocket artillery systems, Estonia enhances deterrence, mitigates supply chain risk, and strengthens its national defense industrial base. For South Korea, the deal validates a long-term strategy aimed at becoming a trusted, high-end defense supplier within NATO. As European security dynamics continue to evolve, Chunmoo's entry into the Baltic theater stands as a clear indicator of how modern deterrence, industrial policy, and alliance strategy are increasingly intertwined.